And welcome to the Cunning Linguists. I'm your host, Cheryl King. Thank you. In preparation for today's Cunning Linguists show, I did a lot of research, but no book was more valuable to me than Sex, the Universal Language, written by international expert in all matters sexual, Dr. Freya Mind. You may recall she was our guest back in July and that she doesn't speak English, so she has brought along her colleague, Dominique Ligoulat, who will provide interpretation for this exploration of other cultures and how they express intimacy. The doctor will be provided with instant translation of my questions with a monitor earpiece, and Dominique will translate her answers to my questions for you, our audience.
I go by Dom.
Dom, got it. Dom.
My translator is a Dom.
Oh, how very convenient.
Well, it's just what my friends call me.
Oh, I see. Got it. Well, welcome, Doctor and Dom.
Thank you.
Before we begin, can you tell us a bit about how you two began working together?
Sylvain thought not to this Latin does very pictures and together. Sympathy do to Catachampa is Nisile for conduct capitale or John Sakala.
Basically, we're in a village, and it's a very they have a very interesting custom in this village where greetings are done with breasts, and so you actually have to slap your breasts together in order to say hello. And Dr. Freya Mind was uncomfortable because her breasts are so voluminous, and I don't want to go into too much childhood detail, but let's just say it's a trauma. So she was hesitant to do that, and so instead I volunteered my own breasts in a gesture of friendship. And the rest is history.
Well,
and then I say, you translate for me.
Yeah. Oh, how perfect. Your very own Dom to go along with you and make your intentions clear.
And from then on, we've been touring the world, showcasing her genius book, of course.
Well, I am so delighted to have you here in such a fascinating story, and they are rather marvelous, your breasts, whether they...
Oh.
Yes, I hope that's not inappropriate.
No.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah.
We greet.
Greet.
Yes.
Hello.
And I do you?
Yes. Hello.
Yes.
Thank you. I love that.
And because it's rude to not participate in the breast greeting, I will have to do
it too as
mine.
well. Yes.
So you would like?
I would. Oh, that's very nice. I'm going to remember that. Okay.
Audience.
Would you audience like to flap your...
Maybe later.
Later, during intermission. Good. Okay, now...
But just remember, it's rude not to, so...
That's right.
Right, but of course, there's always... what is the word in your...
Consent.
Right, it's the same word, actually, consent, in her language.
Consent.
It's very...
Exactly. No, get consent before flapping breasts. Good. Okay, now on to the topic for the evening. In the United States, as we all know, kissing is a common form of expressing affection or foreplay. But my research shows that in plenty of other cultures, including the Kwakiutl of Canada, the Trobrianders, the Alaresi of Indonesia, and the Truchesi, show intimacy by exchanging saliva, sucking each other's lips and tongue. And the Sami in Eurasia go for kissing the mouth and the nose at the same time. Have you encountered other forms of kissing in your travels?
Cosa t'es dit? Just a telephone to the ten about a good kiss. You know, kiss, lip kiss. But not these lips.
Ah, yes, we have a special word for that. We're getting to it later in the show.
زي faccio scalpetti sepa per totol kuto sepe in sifle toto shoma za senti se lo hoso na jivoso si fono hose vojo o sempre la te se bada vono so e penso se potizon.
So it may have seemed obvious, but just to translate. So basically, in her culture, she's aware too of when people also go to Walmart. They prostrate before the gods of consumerism, and they find the lowest price item, and they prostrate before the sale. Or maybe that was America, but it translates.
Walmart, it's better, it's medicine.
Yeah, but Walmart is actually originally from her country.
Was it really? And at Walmart, I have seen people kissing the mouth and the nose at the same time. Yes,
It's a
at
common
Walmart.
practice. Yeah.
Yes. According to my research, half of the cultures in the world kiss as a romantic or sexual activity, but another half do not. For instance, societies with distinct social classes are usually kissers. But societies with fewer or no social classes, like hunter-gatherer communities, are usually not. For some, kissing seems unpleasant, unclean, or just plain weird. Can you share with us some examples of cultures where kissing is not so prevalent and why?
Zysindavle Azizi na papal do Giberan de Rasol of Chitsbicata at Carnaseo. Hana Hanasa, Hana Sages a bolota mozete, and it's all of Zigile or not set a patch. It is an all you social.
Basically, it's very common for groups of people in I didn't quite
Azizi?
in the Azizi region of Bosnia, and they tend to it's just but Bosnia, it doesn't matter, somewhere around Bosnia. So basically, so they will gather together. Let's see if I can remember this translation because it was about 5 minutes ago. And we will just put it together, and actually people will come together, and there is an initial aggressive moment of people finding the body part that is the most disgusting per toes from the Ren Fair. And they will make sure, right, especially up inside the brain cavity, using fingers inside of any orifice and cavity, and doing the best that they can to put their fists around all means of body parts. And then once they've done that, they will actually lift up the nearest flag of their country. And they will just give it a little nuzzle with the body part that they previously desecrated.
That is fascinating, is it not?
Yeah.
Wow! Thank you. That is so interesting. Now, I understand that in some cultures it is apparently more smell than touching. For instance, the Tinguians in the Philippines get close with their lips and then suddenly inhale. And in Thailand, a similar thing, the Huam Kem, or in English, a sniff kiss. Can you talk to us a bit about why the smelling of a partner's breath might be a preferable choice to kissing?
Xenophobe.
Well, it sounds like xenophobia, but really, it is the definition of smell ardor. And basically, what she was saying is, it really sucks when you have a sniffle cold.
Oh, of course.
Because basically, you're just going around to the whole world saying, I love you, 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 I love you. And it gets very confusing, especially with tribes that are monogamous.
Of course. What a brilliant explanation. I understand. Speaking of lips.
Is it
And
getting hot in here? Wow.
referring to what you brought up earlier, there's another form of intimacy where the lips play a crucial role. Can you guess what I'm referring to? Yes. Cunnilingus, or oral sex on a vulva, which is another form of intimacy some are into and others aren't. But apparently it has been practiced for about as long as humans have existed, and much art has been created about it. For instance, cunnilingus has long been depicted in Japanese erotic art, as I'm going to show you on our screens here.
Oh.
Well, there it is, yes. And in this one over here, you may not be able to see it very well from your angle, but it's the classic woodcut of a woman who is receiving cunnilingus from an octopus. So, are you familiar with this piece? And what can you tell us about the practice of cunnilingus in Japan?
Drupatazno is naflojnuz. Translate.
Basically, cunnilingus in Japan is like any other cunnilingus anywhere in the world, because you have to, as a lover, tap deep inside as if you were an octopus with many different tentacles, and you have to writhe on the floor and reach into your partner, whether it be tongue or finger or any other thing, and you have to make your partner feel as if they are doing this thing that they feel is perhaps erotic, even if they're uncomfortable or awkward, but you can always find your way back home.
Dom, I have to say, you're the best translator I've ever seen.
Dom can read minds.
Do you know what I'm thinking?
Yeah, but it's not appropriate to say it in front of this audience.
You're right. Here is an astonishing fact I learned in my preparation for this interview. It seems the Papuan Pai Islanders in the South Pacific place a fish in the vulva to lick it out. Do you? Do you know of any other cultures who practice this sort of foreplay?
No.
Yes, it's universal.
I see. All right. Here is another example of intimacy that I'd like us to discuss before we move on to the opportunity for the audience to ask questions, which you will have in just a moment. Biting. I'd like to share this short video about how biting is depicted in the Kama Sutra.
this is my favorite part. I'm gonna come right. I want to get a full view. Okay.
Love bites were supposed to be the mark of expert lovemaking, and they were made to be seen. You did not tell people how good was the lovemaking, you showed them. And for this reason, only people with good, well-shaped teeth were allowed to make bite marks. If you had chipped or overlapping or protruding teeth, you would not leave marks with those type of teeth because that would bring insult to you and your lover. The Kama Sutra says you can place love bites on any part of the body except the upper lip, the tongue, and the eyes. However, unlike kissing, bites needed a great deal of practice, and love biting had to be taught properly. And for some of those bites, you had to be a real expert. So for instance, there was a bite called the dot, where you had to nip the skin so cleverly that the mark left would be no larger than the size of a sesame seed. And your expertise lay in being able to make a line of these dots with such precision that it would look like a piece of jewelry. These necklaces of the love bite dots were traditionally made around the neck, the breasts, and the hollow of the thighs. Another type of bite was a larger curving mark called the coral, which was made just by biting with the upper incisors. Starting at either the breasts or the thighs, the coral bite necklace would be made to twist in loops around the body. Or, if you hadn't made love but you wanted to, you would send flowers to your future lover with very carefully constructed bite marks on the petals. And this, Vatsyayana tells us, was the ultimately seductive invitation and had to be composed as carefully as a love poem.
So, how widespread, I know it's exciting, isn't it? How widespread is biting as part of sex play?
Biting. Da, snel nos pipekata folocho se deber Translate?
Is a very personal share. Basically, that she misses the time when you could draw blood, and her teeth have not yet set like the sun on the skin of a lover in many a year, and also tattoo flirting is sexy.
Ooh.
I am gonna take credit.
And well, you should.
It was an anthropological experiment.
And so you're the one who did that?
Precisely.
With her teeth? With her teeth. Nicely done. It's a perfect circle.
It is representative of oneness and a vagina.
Anus. And also of anus.
And also of a noose, which is life and death.
Anus.
And
No.
she just said it again.
Anus.
A noose.
Anus.
A
Anus.
noose.
Anus.
I'm not going to translate that word.
Okay, this is fascinating. It's just amazing to me. Are you willing, Dr. Mind, to take a few questions from our audience? Dom, are you willing to translate?
I'm at your service for service.
Great. And now, any audience people out there have a question for Dr. Mind or for Dom? Nobody?
We can talk about linguistics if you want.
Don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
What about hair pulling?
Zis devele voce che pierta che te ne se leccio sort.
if you come over to my house later, I will show you.
Woo! Her house. Very good, and I think we had a question here in the front.
You mentioned linguistics.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, now we're talking. Okay, yeah. Oh, sorry. It's not about me.
Dialect seems like a dialectal hybrid between Bavarian, High German, and French, or one of the other Romance languages. What specific dialect is it?
Well, it's funny that you asked that, because did you notice the gender pronouns and then with the bilateral fricatives that like went in from the phoneme? Did you notice? Because I think it's so fascinating, because like the Bosnian West region tends to have the native phonemes that turn into a glide, but with the approximate, right? And then when it goes between the fricative and the sibilant and the fricative and the sibilant and the fricative and the sibilant 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 and the sibilant
Of passion.
It's very
of
compelling.
language.
That's
Which one uses their tongue the most?
well. All of them.
Wonderful. We've got time for one more question, or else this will need to be the end of the show. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you so much, Dr. Mind.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And join us all next month when Dr. Freya Mind and Dom will be back with us for the next Forbidden Kiss on October 18th. Thank you so much.